Welcome to the Kinesio Outdoors podcast, where my goal is to educate you on how to safely enjoy exercise indoors and outdoors, inspire you to experience life outside, and encourage you to live a more active life closer to nature. Today on the podcast, I have Brandon from SquatchJuice. Thanks, Brandon, for taking time out of your day to join me. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the invite.
I'm excited. This is going to be a fun one. Ever since I met you, pigging out in the park, is that what they call that?
Yeah, yeah. Of all places, pig out in the park.
Yeah, ever since I met you there, I've been pretty excited. And before I forget, Gunnar Allen from Astoria Ghost Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah, he told me to let you know. He said hello. He said he met you at the Portland show a few times and he was excited that we connected. So Gunnar
That's
said hello.
awesome.
Gunnar will listen to this, so I'm excited for him to hear that.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I've met him a couple of times and I like Gunnar a lot. So he's a good guy. So tell him I said hi. Well, I mean, I'll say
Yeah.
hi, but tell him I
Yeah,
said
I'll
hi.
do that. I have a hunt with him two weekends. So
Nice.
I'll let him know.
Yeah, tell him that I still got to get a shirt from him. So,
Which one do you want? I'll just grab it for you.
well, there was a long sleeve that he had that had like a hoodie on it, but I can't remember if his was like a true size to fit or not. I can't remember. Like an
Okay.
XL would be great probably, but
Yep. I'll bug him. I'll get that for you.
cool, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right. So let's dig in. So if you don't mind, take 5 to 10 minutes. My audience might not know of you yet, so introduce yourself and kind of how it is that you came to be where you're at. Feel free to start from, post, let's say childbirth and just work your way up. I want to hear it.
Oh man, you want the whole life story. So, my name is Brandon Hoffines, and I am the founder and CEO of SquatchJuice. This is something that's been a true passion of mine. This has been something that I'm going to say that Heavenly Father's put in my path for a reason. And my life, I grew up, I guess you can say, kind of like a gypsy, if you will, or like we moved around a lot. My dad was not in the military, I will tell you that. My dad was a financial planner. He worked for banks. He started out working for a bread company, delivering bread and all that stuff over in Idle Falls. But then he's like, this isn't for me. I want to work in finances and I want to help people with retirement. So he started working. He got like his Series 7. We moved from uh, Idaho down to Utah. We lived there for a few years, and then he finally got a Series 7, and then he got hired on by Merrill Lynch, which is based down in California. We then moved down to California. He worked all the way up to be VP, making very, very good money. He got to live around some very influential people, if you will, basketball players, NFL players, really cool guys. And we started to kind of see a trend with where California was going. And he said, I don't want to be here anymore. This is not where I want to raise my family. And so we moved to Wyoming, about 45 minutes south of Jackson Hole, a little place called Star Valley, Wyoming,
Oh yeah.
uh, in Bedford. And, those are my stomping grounds. I absolutely love it over there. That's kind of where I would say we probably grew to love the outdoors more than ever. That's where, I turned 11 and 12 at that time, where we can get our hunting license. My dad, not knowing a thing about hunting, he took us out. A couple of stories real quick is, I turned 12, I got my license. He went out and bought me a 12 gauge shotgun. Super, super stoked to take me duck hunting. Yeah, I idoled this guy, right? Like he was my dad and he was my hero. I'm not gonna question him. I'm gonna be like, yeah, let's go. We park on the side of the main road and we just walk up this canal bank. And all of a sudden we just are walking down this bank and the ducks are flying off the water like a mile away because they can see us coming. And he's like, man, we're not gonna get any ducks. We come up to this like grove of trees that has like a bridge, right? That goes over it, that goes into some guy's property.
Hmm.
And these ducks are swimming. And he's like, oh, let's go get them. So we went and got them, and they weren't like being able to fly off the water. And we're like, sweet, these things are awesome. Like they're not going to be able to go anywhere. So we got like 6 ducks. We went home and we were cleaning them, and my neighbor drives by and he rolls down his window and he doesn't even say a word. He just starts laughing, and he's laughing so hard he starts to cry. And I love this man, Steve. He taught me like almost everything about hunting, and my brother. My dad's like, "What is so funny?" And he goes, "You just killed someone's pets." They were domestic ducks.
Oh, the wings were clipped?
The wings were clipped and their bodies were so massive compared to their wing size. There's no way they were going to be able to fly off.
Oh
You know,
man.
another one, my dad took us up antelope hunting, and you guys know like Wyoming weather can change in an instant. And all of a sudden, we were in the middle of a snowstorm in the middle of the night, and we're sleeping, and it's a wet, wet snow, and he's got this like Walmart $15 tent, and the whole thing just collapsed, and we're just soaked. And we get out, we get in the truck, we turn the truck on. Obviously, this is back in '97 where the automatic headlights come on when
Mhm.
you turn your truck on, and it was the Chevy Silverado, and the lights shine right into my buddy's Ford Bronco, the same guy that laughed at us about the domestic ducks. And he just kind of peeks his head out, and he just goes, and then he goes back to bed because he knew. Anyways, so lived there for quite a while. Then we moved back down here to Boise area, CUNA. Graduated from CUNA High School in 2003, two, something like that, and went on a mission for my church. Was out for 14 months. I got hit by two cars 7 months in. I broke my back, had no idea until I was 7 months in. So 14 months total. And yeah, I had to go home. And then when I came home, I got my license, became a financial planner with my dad, and we started our own business called Summit Retirement Advisors. And I did the annuities and the investments. And then my dad decided that him and my mom weren't going to be married anymore, liquefied the business, and I had to go find my own way. So I went to Wells Fargo thinking I was going to be a Wells Fargo, rep and for their financial wealth management. And I just was like, this is like I had to have to get like how much money under management just to make what I was making. So I started from the very bottom, worked all the way up from the call center in Boise, Idaho, banker, specialist, business specialist, a business banker. Um, I mean, you name it, like I did it, regional banker, branch manager, treasury management, merchant services, did that for quite a while. And then in 2019, um, tragic struck. Tragedy hit the family, and I was picking up my boys from school, and I get a phone call, and my car at the time automatically would just pick up the phone call. It's how I had it set up, and it was my stepmom, and she says, you got to get over here now. Your dad's got a gun, and he's gonna kill himself." And I immediately took the boys home, and they heard everything.
Mm,
Um, to this day, they're still not the same.
mm,
I don't think any one of us is still the same after that. But anyways, I raced all the way from my house to his house. It takes about 30 minutes. Normal traffic. I was there in about 15, and I was going about 120 miles an hour trying to get there. And about 5 minutes out, not even that, I was like maybe 2 miles out. I call her and I'm like, you need to call the police, try everything you can, to get the gun out of his head or out of his hand. Now, granted, he was septic, okay? He went in and got his prostate removed. And when he was getting his prostate removed, they clipped his intestine and not knowing it,
mm.
and
Yep.
fecal matter got into his bloodstream. And
Yep.
so it was so bad that they were giving him 1,000 milligrams of antibiotics on a daily basis, and he ran out of his medication, and it still just wasn't taking care of it. And so it was kind of just inevitable, and it was just a matter of time. But when he went septic for the second time, because we almost lost him the first time, that's when he kind of lost his mind. He wasn't in the right mindset, right?
Yeah.
But he ate and he drank so much garbage. Like he would be one of those guys that, growing up, they literally would be picking fish or chicken off the counter that was been sitting there for a week to 2 weeks,
Mhm.
never refrigerated. So you start looking at kind of like you're a huge health buff, right? Like what our bodies need and what it doesn't need. And
Oh
if you're
yeah.
eating poison, it's gonna then translate back into like your joints, your muscles, your
Yep.
brain, which is like the most important muscle in your whole entire body. It helps
Mhm.
function with everything, right? And so anyway, she just wasn't in his right mind, and unfortunately, I was just like 5 minutes too late. And I got there and I tried CPR, got the paramedics in there
Yep.
a machine on them, and that's a day I will never forget. And I know that each and every one of us, people who are listening right now, people who I've talked to, people that I've interchanged like conversation with, we have all been either directly or indirectly affected by mental health or suicide.
Yep.
And here's some stats for you, and these are staggering. And this is something that when I finally, educated myself on this, made me realize we have got to do something different. We've got to make a difference, and we've got to do what we can to save humanity. And what I mean by that, guys, is this: there are 770,000 people who take their lives every year worldwide. If you think about that and you look at the numbers, from people getting killed by guns, people getting killed by knives, people getting killed by other people, right? The number one like leading thing in death in humanity is suicide.
Hmm.
No one's talking about that. It's all about guns, it's all about knives, it's all about this, it's all about that, but mental health really isn't being talked about.
Hmm.
In the Americas, right? USA, right here, right now, 15% of Americans think about suicide, have suicidal thoughts.
Hmm.
More so men will actually act it out. Women think about it more than men, but they don't act it out. Out of the 15%, 20% of them will actually take the action of trying to take their life. 5% of them will succeed. The 5%, right, or the 15% who don't succeed are likely to do it again, 5% of them, and then 5% will actually succeed doing it. Now, there's been a study done when they're asking these people, why did you do it? The people who lived, the people
Hmm.
who survived. And they're asking, did you really want to hurt yourself? Did you really want to cause harm to yourself? Each and every one of them said, I don't even know what I was thinking. I wasn't even really thinking that I was going to kill myself. But to think that you are going to be more in like you are more likely to hurt yourself, cause harm to yourself than you are by anybody else walking on the face of the earth.
Yep.
That's scary. That's really, really scary. And what are we doing, to fight that? So that's why I started Squatch Juice. And the reason why Squatch Juice is because I wanted something that people are going to really familiarize themselves with. The Sasquatch. Everybody loves Sasquatch, right? But there's a reason why I chose the Sasquatch, and it's not just because of that. It's not because he's the furry, Harry and the Henderson kind of guy, which I love that movie, by the way. But if you really look at it, he stands for quite a few different things. He stands for resilience. He stands for strength. He
Hmm.
stands for overcoming hardships. He stands for just perseverance, and just overcoming all of the elements, right? And so that's what you want to be is you want to be that guy, right? Like your strength, your perseverance, overcoming your mental struggles, all of that, right? And when we created Squatch Juice, it was an idea. And I'm here to tell you right now, like if you're listening to this and you have an idea and you want to change the world, act on it.
Yep.
Um, I've been able to see a lot of blessings through what we've been able to do, and we've changed a lot of people's lives. We've been getting so many people writing in or calling in or actually just messaging us on Instagram or Facebook or whatever of how Squatch Juice has literally changed their lives. Two people, in a matter of fact, up in Spokane that we met after we met with you. I don't
Hmm.
know if you ever saw that there was a kid and a dad that was working in the booth. Did you see them?
No, I was there when it was just you and Kaylee.
Okay. So there's a gentleman named Aaron, the father, and then Lucas is the son.
Hmm.
Lucas has been suffering with mental illness for many, many years. And it's been more so, even that much more dangerous, that he's actually been thinking about taking his life
Yeah.
because he was with his brother one morning and they were having a great time riding four-wheelers in the morning. In the afternoon, they went to go teach him how to drive stick shift in a pickup truck. He ended up flipping the pickup truck and the pickup truck smashed him, and Lucas held his brother in his arms as he took his last breath. He suffers from anxiety. He suffers from ADHD and ADD. So he's on anxiety medication and he's on
Mhm.
Ritalin. And when he found Squatch Juice and he tried a sample, he could tell right away the difference. And so he came back with his dad and he goes, Dad, this is the company that I was talking to you about. This is the company that I love what they're doing. I love their mission, and their product is absolutely amazing and it tastes great. I want some. And we worked out a deal where he said, if you wore the Sasquatch suit for us for like an hour, we'll give you a free bag.
Yeah.
And so he wore the suit. It's a big old blow up one. And
Hmm.
he come up and taking pictures. He took that suit off and he had the biggest smile on his face, and his dad started to cry.
Yeah.
And his dad was like, I have never seen my son this happy, and it's been a long time that I have seen him this happy. And so he just was like, thank you for this opportunity. So they ended up buying a bag, and they came back the next day and they said, I'm off my so this is what Lucas said. He goes, I'm off my Ritalin and I'm off my anti-anxiety medication and I feel absolutely amazing. And he goes, I'm going to try it tomorrow without taking Squatch juice and I'll come back and I'll report. He came back and he goes, I feel like absolute garbage. I'm back on my medication and this stuff is actually killing me.
Yeah.
And he's been now on he and so they wanted to try it for ever since we left. What was that, a month ago?
Yep.
And so they've been on it every day for a month. Aaron, the dad, finally reached out to me and says, Brandon, we are going to be forever customers because I have seen my blood pressure come down. I've seen my LDL come down. But most importantly, the effects that it's having with Lucas, he's been off his medication now for a month and he's doing phenomenal.
That's
And
great.
he's out there and making friends. He is actually like a lot happier. He's joining the cross country team. Like he's doing all of these things that he really was anxious about doing, and he doesn't have that anymore. And he's able to focus and do his work at his schoolwork, and he's getting better grades. And so they are a true testament of what Squatch Juice can do. And it's not just them. We've seen so many other people, like people who've, like my nephew suffers from migraines, chronic migraines for the last 12 years, every day in the afternoon. Went to several doctors. They're like, we have no idea. You're drinking water, you're doing this, like, here's some medication, right? That's all they want you to do. They just want to push pharmaceuticals. Push pharmaceuticals. That's all they want. We all know they make a commission off of it. We get it, whatever. But when we gave him some Squatch Juice hydration with the magnesium, the potassium that we use, he hasn't had a migraine in over 3 months.
Wow. And he takes it daily or drinks it daily.
He takes it daily. So for his birthday, which was last week, and now he goes over here and he's a lacrosse player friend and you, he said, Brandon, what I want for my birthday is I just want 2 bags of Squatch Juice because I drink it every day. So that is a little bit about us, guys. We are here to fight that mental illness that we all are seeing on a daily basis, the silent pandemic, which is suicide. We're here to make a difference. We're here to put the natural nutrients that your body needs on a daily basis because our drinks contain no sugars, no dyes, no synthetics, real vitamins, the mentholated kind, your B, C's, and D's. And we're finding, and you can probably attest to this, Stefan, is vitamin D, we're finding more is more important than vitamin C for our health, what we need on a daily basis. And then we have the theanine, theacrine, and L-tyrosine along with the dynamine, which is going to be your natural source of your energy and focus, along with the natural caffeine from the coffee bean seed. But with the theanine and L-theacrine and the L-tyrosine, those three things alone have been scientifically proven to help you think a lot clearer, no more brain fog, right? They help you form sentences a lot better. Joe Rogan takes the theanine every single day. So if you guys watch and listen to his podcast, he'll actually attest to it every single day, right? The L-tyrosine is going to help you feel a lot happier. It's going to help you adapt to stress, and it's going to help you just kind of overcome those daily trials on a daily basis. So we have been third party tested. And we are now like one of the, if not the cleanest drink on the market now.
Yep.
So that is it. I mean, that's us in a nutshell.
Yeah. Love it. Thanks for that story. I just let you run because I was like captivated by it. Definitely a lot of interesting things there. And there's two things that I want to circle back to. One of them is one of the first things you said is God put this in my path for a reason.
Yeah.
And so I'm a practicing Catholic, so like a subdivision of Christianity. And not a lot of people talk about the influence of God in their lives, right? So like not every morning, most mornings, most nights, my thoughts are, thank you, God, for today. Thank you, God, for my wife. Thank you for my family. Thank you for these opportunities. Thank you for my job. So many things are put into place by God just blessing us, right?
Mhm.
And unfortunately, it sounds like part of the kind of motivation behind Squatch Juice is really heavy trauma for you, right? And just a lot of people, right? You said 770,000 people worldwide. That's
Mhm.
really, really heavy. But I really respect and appreciate that you decided to take that and you're going to do something about it. And you're only going to spread positivity and you're going to try to do things in a way that really makes a difference. And that's part of why I wanted to try what you had is the message behind the company. So as soon as I saw you guys at Piggin out in the park, my wife and I were like, kind of conversation, what do you want to eat? And then I just like stopped listening to her, which is super rude. Don't do that to your spouse, everybody. But I was like, hold on, I've heard a little bit about this company. And when we went over, Kaylee was talking a little bit, and then she's like, oh, you're pretty well versed in nutrition. I'm just gonna introduce you to Brandon. And boom, instant connection. Like you said, ingredients are really, really good. There's so many other hydration and energy and focus drinks out there that have different ingredients to try to get the same result. And your ingredient list is really short. Your ingredient list is compiled of ingredients that I'm happy to give my daughter. I just whipped up a 30 ounce. I do 30 ounces. I don't have too much of a sweet tooth. And my daughter just got 6 ounces of it. And she calls it her apple juice. It's delicious. The ingredients are great. My 2-year-old daughter gets that, and she's not going to get the sugar crash, the sugar high, all of that stuff. Um, I'm really excited to have found you guys, and I'm excited for what you all are doing. And again, the positivity and that message is something that I really, really admire. So
Thank you.
kudos to you for doing that. That's pretty awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So with that, you gave us a pretty awesome introduction. So let's dive back into some of that Wyoming hunting because my guess is Wyoming back then, especially for deer, was just like the Mecca.
It
Is
still
that
is,
kind of
man.
true?
It still is. I mean, I still got friends and family that live back there, and I mean, I can pull up pictures upon pictures, and it's like every year they get these monster deer and these monster elk. Like, I sit there and I look, and I'm like, man, I wish I could just, get my points or somehow keep
Yep.
my residency because, gosh, man, these things are just absolute beasts, and they're beautiful, majestic animals.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
so, yeah, I mean, they still are, man. It's still a mecca.
Yeah, definitely. All
Yeah.
right. So, let's talk about some of those ingredients. You mentioned them, and I think we should first start with, feel free to interject, but I want to explain to people kind of the science behind these hydration products.
Yeah.
And what happens in your body is something called osmosis. So your cells, if you imagine your cell kind of gets smaller and gets larger depending on your water, how much water your body has. If you're really dehydrated, your cells will shrivel up a little bit. If you're overhydrated, you'll get like hypotensive cells. And you kind of want to try to find that balance. Well, in your kidneys, and I believe it's your glomerulus, what happens is if there's an imbalance your kidneys usually do sodium and potassium.
Mhm.
And if you're super hydrated, then what your kidneys do is they will kind of not hold, let's see, I want to make sure I get this right. If you're really hydrated, then because the water follows sodium and potassium, your kidneys will actually dump sodium and potassium out in your urine.
Yep.
But if you're dehydrated, then your body's going to hold on to that sodium and potassium, and then the water's going to follow. So you're going to kind of keep that hydration. So when you see other brands saying like it's a water multiplier, it's not quite multiplying it, but it's encouraging your kidneys through that osmosis to hold on to that water.
Yep.
Well, something about your ingredients is you use the ingredients that your body actually needs.
Yes.
You need magnesium, you need sodium. I can't remember, do you guys have potassium?
Yes, we do. 150 milligrams.
Yep.
Yep.
And those are key things that are vital to your body, your kidneys function to keep hydration. So just so everybody kind of understands the biology behind it. Essentially, your body is playing a balancing act of how much water you have in one side, and then these nutrients, we're going to say sodium and potassium on the other, and your body's just trying to balance those all the time. So
Yep.
if you're really dehydrated, putting those into your body, also it's going to kind of make you want to drink more water, which is good, but it's going to help prevent you from just urinating out the water. So you're going to, again, hold that water. It's going to promote the sodium and potassium to only stay, not only stay in your kidneys, but also in your cells to, again, promote that cell from shriveling up. So on that, that's kind of the biology behind it. Did all that check out, Brendan?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Sweet. So, how did you, financial, we'll call you a financial advisor per se, how did you decide to take a dive into all of those, all that biology? That took me quite a bit of biology classes to really understand that. So, pretty impressed that you're able to just tackle it on your own.
That's a great question. And I'm a true believer in kind of backing up to like why I did it and how you do it. Anybody can really do it, right? And I think that it just comes down to like your ability to put your mind to work, right? Like you want to do it. Like if you put your mind to it, you can do it. Um, I've been one of those guys that's always been like, if I'm going to do a certain thing, if I'm going to be doing a certain task,
Hmm.
I want to make sure I'm the best at it. And I want to make sure that if I'm going to be talking to these people about this drink, I'm going to be talking about these ingredients, I better know what I'm talking about,
Yep.
right? So I really dove into talking to some world-renowned nutritionists, some doctors. A really good friend of mine who actually got into this business as well was a financial planner as well at the time with my dad, and we all worked together. And then after 23 years of never seeing each other, we like bumped into each other, and he's like, "What are you doing?" "Well, I'm starting this." "Well, I just got done doing that. I sold my business for $100 million. What can I do to help you?" And so he's been helping me, and he's been helping like educate me on a whole bunch of different things, right? So he looked at my ingredient list when I first started, and he goes, "Okay, there's three major things that you need to get rid of, and you need to change before I can actually even help you because I don't back this." And I
Yep.
said, "What is it?" He goes, "You have maltodextrin,
Hmm.
sunflower lecithin, and sucralose." Now,
Yep.
I mean sucralose. Let's just kind of dive down into sucralose real quick, okay? So sucralose is it's a sugar-based sweetener, okay? So it is actually coming from the sugar cane itself and it's called sucrose. And what they're doing is they're extracting like the high concentrate part of the sugar. So it's 600 times sweeter than a natural sugar is. So in a way, it's taking away like how can I say this? Like we know diabetics, like if they take anything really, really sugary, it's gonna really, bump up their blood, right? And spike their blood. So sucralose actually kind of doesn't do that, but keeps the sweetness there because
Yep.
it's 600 times sweeter. So you're getting a fraction of what like a really like a gram of sugar is. It's like a milligram if to sucralose. Does that make sense? So if you do drink a lot of it, which would be like that much, if you
Yep.
drink like that much, you will die. Like, but with anything within moderation, like if you eat too much, like gluttony, right? You're gonna die. But
Exactly.
like that's a lot of like that was one big misconception that a lot of people think, and it's all over the internet right now where all these people are saying like sucralose is so bad, which it is, but at moderation, right? There's just
Yep.
kind of no. So we went to stevia, which you know. And what I didn't know about stevia is there's 43 derivatives of stevia. Did you know this?
You were telling me that when I met you, and I didn't realize there was that many variations of it. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, so you're gonna have the stevia. Everyone's probably really familiar with the stevia that you see at the coffee shops or you see at the restaurants that you put into your coffee, whatever. So that has actually been manipulated. That's actually been used by physicists and all those guys who are up there. What's it called? I can't think of their name right now. Like oh my gosh, what are they called? People who they cook stuff.
We're talking about chemists?
Chemists, thank you.
Yep.
You know, so they've actually have man-made some of that stevia that goes into the coffee. Okay, so 43 derivatives, three are actually all natural. Okay, and then you have a purity of all three. You have an A, B, C. A being the purest, B not being the so pure, and then C being like not as pure, right? So if you think about it, it's just how they're grown. It's how they're cultivated. It's how they're actually being well taken care of by the person who is growing the stevia, right? So we only use the type A, and it's all natural, and it tests at 97% purity or higher. If
Yep.
it doesn't, we go somewhere else. So that, right, is really, really important. So to answer your question in long, I really just studied. I would ask questions. I literally just soaked myself in and immersed myself with doctors, nutritionists, and read a whole bunch of stuff, watched a ton of videos. And some of the videos were contradicting. So then I had to go down those rabbit holes to find out which one was actually true and which one was not.
Yep.
And so that's what I did. And I did it almost every night, every day, for a year. And there's still a lot that I'm learning. Don't get me wrong. There's still a lot that I'm learning. Like when we got the hydration 3, 4 months ago is when we finally got into it. And we were able to finally get that stevia to mix really well. Now, here's another cool thing. I'm going to tell you this. A lot of people don't know about this, and you can look this up. We only found this just as of recent, but this is a new natural fruit that's like monk fruit. A lot of people know what monk fruit is.
Yep.
To me, it's super, super bitter. I don't like it. And we tried it. It just did not go well at all with
Yep.
squash juice. But we found another fruit that's just like it out of the Western Hemisphere of South Africa, and it's only in that region called Tomatin.
Hmm.
And so we paired that with the stevia, which has now cut that very bitter end aftertaste
Yep.
off. So you don't get that. So a lot of people are like, "What the heck is Tomatin?" And like, "Why doesn't it taste bitter?" And "What did you do to this thing?" It's like it tastes really good and it's all healthy. You're a liar, and
Yep.
it's
Pretty much.
super, yeah. But it's not. I mean, we have it tested, we have it backed, we have it third party tested. I mean, it's the real deal, right? The magnesium. Like I had no idea there's two different types of magnesium. There's the citrate and then there's the glycinate.
Hmm.
I had no idea, right? And like what those two really meant. So I'm like, I don't know. So and that's the thing too, is like people would ask me, and if I didn't know what it was, I would like, hey, I have no idea. Let me get my manufacturer on the
Yep.
phone. I am not one of those guys that's going to BS you. That's just not how I am. If I don't know, I'm going to learn so that way I can be the professional and the educator, right? And the expert. So I
Exactly.
called him and said, "Hey, man, are we using citrate or are we using the glycinate, man?" And he goes, "We only use the citrate, and that is both potassium, magnesium, and then the sodium is sea salt." So
Yep.
if you look at that and you look at what the difference is, like the citrate is going to be in the more natural, right? It's going to be common form used. It's kind of being like a laxative, if you will. So it helps relieve constipation and promote bowel movement, which is actually really, really good. And if you don't have that kind, right? So the other one, the glycinate, can actually cause a lot of damage to your intestines. There's a company out there. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to be talking bad about it, but this is a true fact, and you can Google it. They're actually using the glycinate, and they're actually got a class action lawsuit now because a lot of people are getting sick. They're like actually it's destroying their intestines.
Yep.
So you got to be really, really careful with that, right? So, but I mean, there's so many, right? There's like malate, the oxidite, sulfate. I mean, there's so many different ones, but those are the two types that really goes into it. So when you're looking at like a hydration drink, anybody out there looking at it, read that ingredient and find out which
Yep.
magnesium and potassium they're using. Potassium, they probably will go with the citrate just because that's a relatively even price when it comes to that ingredient. But when it comes to the magnesium citrate compared to the glycinate actually is quite a bit more expensive.
Hmm.
So we do it right. So for instance, you look at these other companies that we're all familiar with. You guys know who they are. It literally is costing them roughly right around 5 to 6 cents a stick to make
Yep.
their ingredient. It cost me 40 cents a stick because we use the right ingredients. And I'm not going to change. So it's been just so fascinating to learn. And like I said, and like going back to it, it's because of Heavenly Father, man, because without him, and I honestly do believe this, like if this wasn't what he wanted, I don't think I would be able to retain this information as easily. Does
That's right. It's so much.
that make sense?
Yep. I feel the same way. So I just finished my PhD in June, and the amount of information I had to learn, I switched advisors. That's like a whole podcast in itself that I probably will never speak because I still like that person who was my old advisor. But Yeah, the amount of information you have to learn, you're like, there's no way I can do this, right? It's like there has to be a reason that I'm able to do this in this amount of time and be successful. And yeah, I definitely think God is looking out for people, and if it's God's will, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just kind of all there's to it. So, with that, I'm going to point out a couple things. You're being a good Christian man and being a little humble. So you definitely were persevering when you were learning all that stuff, but more than anything, you're really curious. And I think that's something that I want to encourage a lot of people who listen to this podcast is whatever you're interested in, just be curious about it. And if you approach things with curiosity, you might have the next Squatch Juice type company. And you might find your calling to do whatever it is in this world. So I encourage people to be curious. That's kind of my advice for the day. So, all those reasons you stated, and then after our conversation and after the message that this company stands for,
Mhm.
I was really excited to try to join the team. I'm an affiliate, right? So
Yep.
it's like like VP or nothing. I'm an affiliate, right?
Not yet anyway. Yeah.
But yeah, that's right. But I don't know if you remember when I tried it, I asked you if you were looking for affiliates. You said yeah, and you said, "Oh, just apply." Do you remember what I told you if after you said that?
Yeah, you'll want to find a product and a company that you really want to stand by and behind
Yep.
that you believe in.
And more than that, I bought a bag. You guys had sold out at the show. Good for you.
Yep.
And I didn't. I think my wife, my daughter, and I drank like half the bag. So what's that? 15 sticks?
15 sticks. Yep.
Yeah, tried all the flavors multiple times, different scenarios. And after a couple weeks, I was like, okay, this is the one. My wife loves other brands. Flavors, a big thing. She hates plain water. And after trying the different flavors, giving it to my daughter, noticing, good feeling after it, I was really excited about it. So, um, yeah, kudos to you. Brandon has never given me anything. I guess I got a free sample at Pig Out in the Park, so I guess I got that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just really excited to have found a company that is focused on something that is such a problem, is hydration. The number one thing, and anybody ever, I got a PhD, so everybody's like, oh, you're a doctor, here's my problem. The first thing I ask everybody is, are you hydrated and how's your sleep? First thing's hydration every single time because it's so important. And
Mhm.
I think that you have a really good product. So again, kudos to you with that. And in fact, this will segue nicely into our next thing. Your product is selling like hotcakes. You guys are in the local grocery stores in the Boise area. And I think you guys had a little bit of an issue with supply chains, right? So with the growing pains,
With growing
good and
pains.
bad,
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to happen,
what's
man.
your plan with that to improve?
What was that? So sorry.
What's your plan to improve? I know you have a plan. You're
Yeah.
the kind of person that problem solves. So,
Well, you have to be, right? If you're going to be an entrepreneur and you're going to be a
oh yeah,
business owner, you're going to come across things that are just going to be like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And you've got to figure that problem out, right? I actually, and it's weird, but I think that if you really look at like real, like Steve Jobs, right? Like I love the man, probably like one of the biggest jerks ever. But
probably.
he had it dialed in, man, and he knew what he was talking about. You look at him and I mean other people too, but um, I like to find problems to solve. I like to kind of see, okay, if I do this, what's going to happen? That happens, what's going to happen next? And then you're always going to be prepared. And so I'm one of those guys, like, and it's so funny, my team, I've got a couple of people on my team. Kaylee's one of them, right? She just joined, but I got a
Yeah.
couple of partners that I brought on at the very beginning of this thing. And they're always like, why are you making decisions like this? Like, you're always just making decisions super, super fast. Or why don't you ever just take time? And I said, guys, I get the information that I need to make that decision, then I make that decision. Now, whether it's going to be a good decision or a bad decision, we're all learning from it and we're all going to be successful from it no matter what. Here's the thing is like if I make three decisions and one of them works while it took you the same time to make a decision on one, I'm three times more ahead of you than you are of me. And so, like, you've got to be kind of just, always moving, right? So, fighting problems. So, yes, that was a problem when we came up and said, oh my gosh, we're going to run out of product. And what ended up happening was this is we had one flavor, watermelon. And it takes we source our ingredients and our flavoring worldwide. So
Mhm.
last came from Croatia. Um, and it's got to go through custom, it's got to go through all that rigmarole, right? Our tariffs and all that stuff, right? So the last batch of watermelon did not test at 97% or pure. And it takes 3 to 5 weeks to get it, and then another week to get it tested. So we had to start all over again. And we had to wait for that. We couldn't just put it together three flavors in the hydration when it's a four flavor pack, right?
Yep.
So that's what prolonged it another 3 to 5 weeks.
Yep.
And we started to sell out. I was trying to do the best that I could. I was literally, guys, I was going to other stores that were carrying our product. I would drive 2 hours away, and I knew that they had like 20 on hand. And they're a smaller store. I would go in and I bought like 15 of them, and then I would
Yep.
resell them
Hmm.
and fulfill orders just to keep people happy, right? You got to kind of think outside the box at that time. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to front load. And what that means is instead of waiting for us to have the money, because I started this from scratch, guys. Like I am not like this multi-millionaire. I'll tell you that right now. I started with 50 units at the very beginning. That was $1,000. And every time so $1,000 turned into $3,000. $3,000 turned into $6,000. 6,000 turned into 12, so forth and so on. Now we're up to $220,000 every order. And it just keeps going in and going in. We actually jumped from like 50,000 to 200,000. That was like the jump that we
That's
had
wild.
in
That's
like a
like
month and a half.
800% increase.
It's an 800% increase,
Yeah,
right?
that's wild.
And I'm just like, I had to go get a loan. My brother was like, he's very wealthy. And he was just like, I believe in what you're doing. I've been watching you. This is not just a fly-by-night thing. You really do have a business. You really do have a plan. I put together a whole business plan for him and everything. And he was very, very like critiquing me. And he runs one of like the biggest HVAC companies in the world, man. So he travels all over. He knows what he's doing. I love the man. And so anyways, we had to kind of like get a little bit of a loan to
Yep.
that. Now we have it. Now we've got all the product. We have it all in trailers and we have it in the garage. We have over 200 and something $1,000 worth of product sitting
Yep.
there.
Up to your ears.
Yeah, so we finally got it. But I can't keep it in stock, man. The hydration just flies off the shelves.
Yeah,
Energy
it's so good.
Focus has been great. It's kind of like your it's like your I don't know how you want to say it. It's just like it's like your tank. It's just steady.
Yep.
It's gonna go. It's just gonna do this.
Yeah.
Hydration, like literally after the third time that we've actually refined it, is now gone like this and then like this to this.
Yep.
And I'm very, very blessed. Like, I just want to say thank you to Heavenly Father. Really, like, I really do.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's all up to Him, glory to Him. But for crying out loud, man, and I sit there and I look at him, and I don't look at him, but I sit there and I pretend that I'm looking at him, right? And
Yeah,
I
of
know
course.
he's next to me, and I'm just like, what are you doing? You testing me?
It's for a
Like,
great purpose, right? You know that.
yeah, and I'm just like, man, you were just pushing me, man, and I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to him. But that's kind of
Definitely.
what we are gonna do to kind of face it going forward. I don't even I think we've sold um, I mean, right off the bat, I was having to go down to Utah. They were filling it, right? They were
Mhm.
filling it as they were going. I would drive down to Utah. I'm like, I need 2 cases. I need 3 cases. I got Albertsons who's need it like now. It's been
Yep.
2 weeks. They need it now. I was going down just to get what they were getting done. It takes them about 3 to 4 weeks to get an entire order done, 5,000 units,
Yep.
times 36 pouches. What is that? 150. I don't even know, man. It's like
Like
150.
180,000.
Yeah. So, anyways, it takes them a long time to get it done.
Yeah.
Um, but I was just doing everything I can. But that's what we're going to do now, and we're going to put another order in before we have to face that crisis again. So,
Yeah. And I will say, as a follower of your Instagram page, it's definitely like you're bootstrapping it, right? So for those people that didn't see this post, you guys had your entire counter and
mhm.
kitchen
Yeah.
table, and wasn't it like folding tables just
Uh,
with packs and labels just all over your home.
it was
And
a
I was like, man,
hundred.
these people are
It was a
putting
hundred
like,
orders. It was a
huh?
hundred orders, and I think the average unit per order was four on that one because we had some people that were ordering like 6 to 10 because they
Yeah.
wanted to have product. They knew it wasn't going to last, and so they ended up ordering like 6 to 10
Yep.
units, a whole year's worth,
Hmm.
um, so that way they didn't run out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had 100 orders with I think it was like oh man, I can't even remember what it was. It was like 176, 180 bags total that
Yeah.
we had to pack to
Crazy.
get. Yeah.
Congratulations. That's awesome. I'm really excited for you all. I'm definitely like on the sidelines, rooting for you. Every time I see stuff like that, it's pretty exciting. But I could see how that would be really frustrating. I would equate that to my mom had a cafe. Fourth of July weekend was like the weekend, right? And we were all just like dreading it because it was double time. It was as soon as we closed, staying for 4 hours to prep for the next day and make everything and clean and eat, and take a break. I can definitely appreciate that hustle, and it's cool to see y'all working hard and having that success. Speaking of success, have you had success with your elk tag yet? Let's
Oh
talk
man.
about elk hunting.
Oh man. Oh no, we got okay. All right. Uh Humble but confident. I'm a pretty good elk caller, man. Like I can bugle and I can cow call really, really well. And I've learned from the best, right? Corey Jacobson, Elk 101, Mike Batiste, these guys are really good friends of mine. I've known them
Oh,
for
you know
years.
Corey?
Huh? Yep. His dad, I love Rocky. It's just tragic to see what happened between those two.
Yeah.
But I remember one year I waited till the last minute. I was like, I'm gonna go get some Rocky, mountain elk calls.
Yeah.
Everybody was sold out, man. Everybody was sold out. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I called Rocky, his wife answered. And bless her soul. She just was like, Brandon, what do you need? And I was like, I need this, 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 and this. It was like 5 calls.
Yeah.
And she goes, what's your address? And I said, and I gave it to her. I'm like, I'll pay you like right now. Like, and she goes, no, not a problem. Coming right to you. And super cool family. And then literally a week later, his house burns down. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
man, that poor guy. So then he sells his business, good for him. He's out doing his own thing. And so I still talk to like Lance Sellers, all those guys who are part of it, really good friends of mine. But going back to it, we get up there, we're in 30, 25, 30 minutes of our elk hunt.
Yep.
We walk down, we see this trail that's just been hammered by elk. And I'm like, I'm gonna let out a call and just kind of see what I get, just a locating bugle. Right off the bat on the other draw, like it was maybe 500 yards. It wasn't long. Bull answered right back, fired right back. I'm like, ooh, he's hot.
Yep.
And I knew exactly what he was going to do. He was going to use those thermals and he was going to kind of go
Yep.
around and come back down to try to get us. I said, okay, Corey. And I said, this is a buddy of mine who's been with me for like, I don't even know, almost 8 years hunting with me.
Hmm.
He's killed one elk and I've killed seven. And he's always been there to help pack him out and all that stuff. And I said, this year we're going to
Yep.
focus on getting you a bull first. And it's never been like we wanted to focus on me first. It's just the elk they come to the collar. And you need to
That's
learn how to
right.
call.
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't sit up in a good spot, it sounds like.
Yeah, and that's just what it is. So anyway, so I'm calling and he's coming and I'm like, okay, we got to get up and around, and he's going to use this thermal we got in it. We're just have to book it up this trail. It wasn't that far. It wasn't even that bad, dude. It was like maybe 60, 80 yards, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we get up to the top and I let out a bugle and sure enough he's coming right to us. So I'm like, okay, go over here because then what he's going to try to do since we're now facing him, he's
Yep.
now going to skirt more that way around,
Yep. Go uphill.
go uphill. So I want you to go over there.
Hmm.
And as soon as I did that and I started walking down, of course I have, we're literally like 20 yards away and he's just screaming. And I see him and he's in these trees and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, all right, well, I'm gonna knock an arrow just because if he walks, the opposite direction
Yep.
in my favor, I'm gonna take him. And that
Hmm.
was the case, right? We agreed on that. And so I was like, okay, if he walks that 5 more feet, I'm gonna get him. Well, he did exactly what I thought he was gonna do. He heard me bugle and cow call, so then he went back and around if further towards Corey. Unfortunately, Corey had his head down, wasn't paying attention, literally walked right on him and spooked him. He ran about 50 yards. Cal
Yeah.
called him and didn't have really time to range. He just kind of was like, oh, he's at 60, which he was at 57. So, kudos to him.
Yes.
But here's the thing. Remember this, elk hunters. If the elk or the animal are high, shoot low. If they're low, shoot high. Okay. Now, what I mean by that is you got to think of the trajectory of the arrow. The arrow is a straight line. If you're going to be shooting and you're going to be aiming for the top of the lung or the lung shot, that arrow is going to have that consistent trajectory, and it's going to go actually at the top of the back, and it's not going to hit any vitals. And that's what he ended up doing. It went through the no man's land.
Um,
And so he didn't aim at the bottom
yep.
for the arrow to go through and to go up. So we traced him. He bled pretty well. We chased him for 2 days, 15 miles, I think is what it was. And finally the blood just stopped. I'm like,
Yep.
dude, he coagulated. He's not gonna die. He's fine. Then that gave, and then the weather started to turn in and it started to get pretty dang nasty. Literally the rut ended like 2 days later, and we
Hmm.
were on top of this ridge and the elk were at the bottom. And I'm not even joking. It was so crazy to see the bulls and then the cows started to go their separate ways. And I
Oh
said,
man.
we're done.
Yep.
We're done. We just missed the rut. And so I wasn't able to get um, my animal this year. And that's okay. It's hunting. It's not called killing. It's called hunting.
Yep.
So it is what it is.
Well, that sounds pretty dang exciting. I want to circle back to your point of if you're shooting below them or if you're above them.
Yep.
So just to make that more clear, what Brandon's saying, everybody, is the arrow as it goes through the animal, if you're not on level ground, is going to go through on an angle. So if you're shooting uphill and you aim lower, your arrow's going up. So what Brandon's saying is maybe aim towards the bottom third of that vital area, not towards the middle or the top third, because if we're trying to get two lungs, we want to aim towards the bottom, then we'll maybe get the bottom piece of that closer lung, and then as the arrow goes up through, you're going to get closer to the center of that far side lung, and you'll able to get the double lung there. The opposite would be if you're shooting downhill, maybe shoot towards the top because your arrow is going to be going down. If you aim too low towards like the bottom third of it, you might get that first lung, but you're not going to get that offside lung. So that's what Brandon's talking about there. That's actually a really good tip. Not everybody thinks about it that way because the lungs are so big, but
Hmm.
yeah, if it's a really, really steep angle, that's a really good point to bring up.
Yep. So, but we had a good time. It was a lot of fun. Um, and that's honestly, I look forward to hunting every year for two reasons. Is I get to go out there and just chase the animals of my dream, and I'm closer to my heavenly Father and my dad.
Yeah.
And look forward to it every year. And it's, my dad's birthday is on the 23rd of September, and I try
Wow.
to be on every year at that time, and I was this year. We actually had that bull come in right on his birthday, 30 minutes.
Wow. That's pretty special.
So yeah, I love it, man.
All right. And we'll end
Have you?
this on, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, have you gone out? Did you go out?
Yeah, so I've been a weekend warrior with my new job. Um, I got two bad ranges. One of them, um, it was far enough. I'm not going to say the yardage, but it was far enough that if I would have known that, I wouldn't have shot. So totally lowballed that one. Bull's absolutely fine. Um, it was the next weekend. I stumbled into some elk, got a bad range. What I mean is, I was ranging the elk and it was 47 to 50 yards, and my rangefinder was saying 57. So I was like, oh, cool. I'm just going to put my 60 a little bit low, and I should be good to go. Um, Airballed that one high. So, long story short, I now have a new rangefinder. And then last weekend, my dad heard some cows in a bull and called me over. So I get over there and he goes, all right, I heard him down here. The bull bugled and chuckled. Go ahead and call. My dad's not a caller. He just got the Phelps Easy Bugle and he's like kind of learning it, but he just got it. So I let out a locator bugle, nothing. I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, he said they were right there. It was like 15 minutes ago." So I let out a shorter bugle and I end it with some chuckles, and the bull pipes off 5, 8 seconds later. So I'm like, all right, I guess that's where we're going. So we look at our maps and it's an old logged area. So we're like, okay, we think they're between this contour and this contour. We're going to go on this upper one and we're going to call down, and the wind's going to be blowing up, and he's not going to like that we're above him, and he's going to possibly come up and fight. Go around, and at the switchback, there was a little cut road off of it, which is pretty common with logging areas. So go a bit. I'm like, they should be right around here. Let out a bugle and chuckle because that's what he answered to. Nothing. So I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, I'm just gonna go around a little bit more. Maybe they went around the basin on contour. It was a little bit thicker. There looked like there was some water in there. So maybe they're gonna water before bed. And come around the corner, 45 yards, there's a cow
Oh
feeding,
no.
facing me. Bull was at 135-ish, and he didn't know what was going on. The cow busted to 80, 85, and then she kept going to like 105. And this area where I was hunting, I think I told you where I was at. A big herd or a big group is like 6 elk. That's a big one. This one had 17, the biggest group we've ever seen on camera or in person. And they moved off. We just stood there. They didn't know what happened. The closest cow just saw us. The wind was good. The wind was going uphill, so we had a crosswind. Um, they just kind of moved off, and they weren't single file, so we knew we had a chance, right?
Yep.
So we just sat down for 1 hour, and oh my gosh, I cannot wait. So my dad, I'm gonna take a nap. An hour later, I'm like, okay, we're going. So we're like, okay, we're just gonna go up and we're just gonna follow tracks and see what we can see. So we go for 600 yards, and I start hearing what sounds like a squirrel. So I'm like, kind of loud for a squirrel. So we're sneaking, arrows knocked, and I look up and there's a bull feeding 57 yards through brush, no shot. And then it beds down. And then I look over and there's a cow bedded down. So we back out the road into some shade. We're like 100, 120 yards from them. Wind's blowing up, clouds blow overhead, wind swirls,
Oh
and
no.
those things busted all the way around the base. And they must have run, gosh, half a mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
That was that weekend. This is a Montana tag, so I've got this weekend, next weekend, and then 5 weeks of rifle.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a weekend warrior. I've got 3 encounters with bulls, so pretty lucky, honestly, if you ask me.
Yeah,
But
that's really cool.
so that's that. Let's end this with any future plans for Squatch Juice. You seem like, again, an entrepreneurial person. Do you have any future plans about setting up like an HQ or a storefront or any new products that you're thinking about teasing with?
We do. I don't think we're gonna like the HQ for right now. It's just gonna be out of like my house. We're looking at probably getting another house with like, is it like a what's it called? Like an office space with a storage unit, if you will.
Yeah, like a shop.
Like a shop. I just can't afford. I mean I can. I just I don't. How can I say this? If I'm gonna be paying $2,000 a month for someone else to be collecting rent, why not put that towards my dream house, right? That I can
Yeah.
actually just.
Yeah, that's
So
fair. And like realistically for a supplement company, a storefront, unless you have like this really long product line. Yeah, I see what
yeah,
you're saying. Yeah, you need
we,
space for
we
product and you need space for work
yeah,
meetings.
yeah, exactly right. All I'm gonna say is I've learned this. Oh, that's my little girl right there. You know, that's my little girl. I love her to death. She's my little, she's my buddy. But all I can say is this is what I've learned from other very, very successful entrepreneurs is don't tell too much. Kind of let people find out, let
Oh
people
yeah,
walk.
that's fair. I like it, leaving some mystery.
Leaves the mystery, right? And then the thing is this too is like if it doesn't end up working out, then you got a lot of explaining to do.
Yep.
A lot of people are like, well, what's going on? We've got a lot going on. I'm telling you that right now. We have got some big things in the works. I'm going down to Texas for some of them this weekend. Um, yeah, just just watch our page. Go to IG, go to Facebook, and join the ride because it's going to be a heck of a one. So.
I love it. I love it. Let's leave it there. Let's end with how can people find website to order and then Instagram and Facebook.
So right now, where you can find us on the website, it's squatchnut.com. It's SquatchNut.com. We just purchased, there was a guy that was holding SquatchJuice.com at ransom. This guy, I tell you what, man, we've been working with him for 6 months and he wanted just an astronomical amount of money for this
Yeah.
domain name. We finally got to a point where it's just like, okay, we'll give you that. We're not going to give you a dime more. And that will transition over to squatchjuice.com for the energy and hydration. But as of right now, you can go to squatchnut.com and you can find everything there. We have a whole bunch of apparel. We have some really cool shirts. We're doing some like 90 retro like kickbacks. Like we have one shirt right now that's absolutely just killing it and it's super funny. Like if you're a 90s kid like me, and you love the Ninja Turtles, we got the
Yep, I was gonna
mountain
ask.
the Teenage Mountain Ninja Squatches, and
Yeah.
dude, they are flying off the shelves, and I love it.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of other ones, but Instagram, Facebook, just look up Squatch Juice, look up Squatch Nut. Um, We've got quite a few followers. We're on TikTok, Threads, YouTube. Look up our YouTube channel. We post about once a month on that. We've got some big things working on that as well. We've got a new series that we're going to be coming out with in November. So you're going to want to watch that because we literally are going to be changing people's lives. This is something that I really want to do. And we're going to be taking people who are suffering from mental illness, and we're going to retrain their brain. And we're going to do it through a couple of different things. I'm not going to give away too much, but it's going to be pretty awesome, and we're going to be changing people's lives. So yeah, you can find us on all of the socials and YouTube and all that.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks again, Brandon, for joining me. This was super fun chat. I knew it was going to be a fun one after meeting you in Spokane there. So I'll just do the send off and get you out of here. So thanks for joining me, Brandon. And anybody, please follow Brandon. Check out the product. I love it. My daughter loves it. My wife loves it. Check it out. It's awesome. So then I'll just end this with if you're not moving, get moving. And if you are moving, stay moving, everybody. We'll catch you on the next podcast.